Hi, everyone. This is Ashley Latecki-Ellenboss with Sky House Herb School and Apothecary. And today I'm going to be talking about ways you can boost your energy without caffeine. I'm going to be talking about herbs, some of my favorite pre-made drinks that you can easily purchase. Also, herbs that you can use and blend yourself to try to get more energy. So let's first talk about energy and why caffeine is such a easy target, right? It's such an easy thing. Every corner has a Starbucks or Caribou, or if in Europe, you've got your own chains of coffee shops, probably still Starbucks. But it's so easy to get. It's so easy to stop in any fast food chain or coffee shop and grab a coffee, grab a latte, and get your energy and go. And here in the United States, there's a coffee chain called Dunkin' Donuts, and their whole motto, their slogan is America runs on Dunkin'. And do you know what they sell? They sell donuts and they sell coffee, and that's kind of it. And I think they have like some sort of like bacon sausage donut burger. I don't know. Anyway, if that's what America runs on, then America's in trouble if we didn't already know that. So sugar, caffeine, easy sources of energy. We get a quick hit of cortisol. Our energy goes up. We can tackle tasks. We can focus for a little while. But the problem with drinking large amounts of caffeine, or really even small amounts of caffeine, and eating sugar is the crash, right? We all know that feeling a few hours after we've had coffee, maybe 3 or 4 hours, you start to feel tired, lethargic. Some people get anxiety, they get big blood sugar drops. So all of these things make coffee and caffeine a pretty poor option if you're feeling tired. So now, if you're feeling tired, some temperaments, I will say this, there are some people out there that have a very full tank of gas. They're not depleted at all. And so they can drink a little bit of caffeine. And I'm thinking about my Italian, Sicilian relatives, full of energy, full of chutzpah, like, I don't know where they get their energy from, but these women are not depleted. They are full of vigor. It's probably all the vegetables they eat and all the time in the kitchen with family. So they can drink coffee and they don't get anxiety. They don't, have problems with sleeping. It gives them a little bit of a boost. But I remember growing up with my family in the evening, say like around 9 or 10 after dinner, everyone would stay up and drink espresso and then they would just go to sleep. So, some temperaments and some cultures, some people can do okay with drinking caffeine throughout the day or late at night. But I will say most people, especially people that are taking caffeine because they're depleted and they are maybe running around working, they have young children, they're otherwise stressed out and they need that extra boost. A lot of those people are actually becoming overtaxed and it's actually taking out more energy. It's actually, it takes more energy out of you than it actually gives you. So that's why I want to talk about some of these alternatives, things that you can take and reasons why. Because if you are one of those people who can identify themselves as more depleted, then the best thing you can do for yourself is to cut out caffeine, try to limit your sugar, and try to build your reserves back up with adaptogens. And so here's the cool thing. I'm going to give you some options of caffeine substitutes that have adaptogens in them. So I have some slides. A lot of you really liked the slides I put together in my last presentation on herbs that will be relaxing, which is kind of the opposite of this, and relaxing without making you sleepy. So I created some slides for this. So let me find them here. And here we go. All right, so I'm going to go to my very first one. And hopefully you will be able to see my slides. Yep, there they are. Okay, so this is my very first love in terms of when someone says, I don't want to drink coffee anymore. I want to come off caffeine. What do you recommend? This is my go-to for my clients. It's this product called Rasa. It was created by a mother who was, like a lot of other mothers, really worn down, needing energy, trying to take care of young children, breastfeeding, and just not sure what to do. And so she created this product called Rasa. And I actually drank this during my pregnancies and also during breastfeeding for both of my daughters. And it's a really safe blend, and it's really nourishing and building. And now, I love the taste of coffee. What I like about it is the rich earthiness and that bitterness. And if you like that rich, earthy bitterness of coffee, you'll like Rasa. And if you like the creamy, sugary part, you can add cream and, sugar moderately to make it taste more the way you like it. So this blend I listed the ingredients here on the slide. It has roasted chicory, burdock root, dandelion root, eleuthero, shatavari, heisha wu, Codonopsis, chaga, ashwagandha, rhodiola, cinnamon, and reishi. And all of these ones with asterisks are organic, sustainable, and then they're really funny, this company, blessed by grass-fed unicorns. And then double star, unicorns have not been approved by the FDA. So, it's a very quirky company, and I like that about them. But all of these herbs, if we have the chicory, burdock, dandelion, these are all really good liver supportive herbs. They're grounding bitter roots, really good for the liver and helping the body with detoxification. They also contain this prebiotic substance called inulin, which helps build up your healthy gut bacteria. And then we have some adaptogens, and adaptogens help your body respond to stress. So these are going to be things that help balance out the hypothalamic pituitary adrenal axis. This is basically that fight or flight response. And it helps you kind of respond and come back to homeostasis after stress. So if you get triggered, you come back and you adapt more quickly. And so eleuthero, shatavari, heisha wu, codonopsis, chaga, ashwagandha, and rhodiola and reishi are all considered to be adaptogens. Now, the only one in this blend that some people have issue with is rhodiola. Now, rhodiola is a plant that's endangered. Rasa, I did email them, and they say that they do sustainably source it, and they make sure that where they're getting their rhodiola from is not from any sort of endangered spaces, and it is cultivated, which is good. So it's not wildly sourced. And same thing with their chaga, which is another plant that I'm on the lookout for. Are you just taking it, like clearing out forests? No, they're growing it, which is wonderful. And what else? They've got some cinnamon in there to help regulate blood sugar, and it also adds a really nice taste. So this is a really nice one. What I love about Rasa is that you can brew it just like coffee. So you can brew it in a French press. For me, as an Italian, I really like the stovetop percolators, or mocha pots they're called, where you have it uses pressure and heat to extract the compounds from the grounds. So that's what I use. You can look up mocha pot. I like to use stainless steel because the aluminum is not something I really want in my bloodstream. But that's how I brew it, because it's the most like espresso, and I love espresso. But you can also, if you like more drip coffee style, then the French press would be a really nice option. So you brew it as strong as you want it. There's instructions on there, and yeah, you can purchase it online at wearerasa.com. And they do have different options. So if you're a coffee drinker and you want to wean off of your coffee, they do have a blend of coffee and Rasa, half and half. They also have one that is cacao and Rasa. And I'm going to talk about cacao in just a little bit. So you can buy their blends that have these stimulating compounds in them. And I didn't mention this, but rhodiola, another reason why people have an issue with rhodiola is because it can be a little stimulating. And I don't find it in this blend to be overly stimulating. I think when people are depleted, they actually get a really nice lift from this blend. So I don't notice that in my body. I've never had any clients, especially women that are breastfeeding, complain of feeling any increase in anxiety. So I think it's just the way that they blended it. It's not too high. However, if you're really, really sensitive to stimulants, you may want to start with a lower dose and see if, they have sample packs you could try, which you might want to do. So great company, check them out, see if that might be a good option for you. Another option that's really nice for energy that is similar to that sort of coffee blend is a four-sigmatic mushroom cacao mix. And I really love cacao as a stimulant. Now, coffee and chocolate have different amounts of caffeine. So just to give you an idea, this is from the USDA nutrient database, that 1 cup of hot chocolate has approximately 7.44 milligrams of caffeine, whereas 1 cup of brewed coffee has 96 milligrams of caffeine. So about 8 in hot cocoa and 96 in coffee. Now, here's one thing to note, though, is that at Starbucks, a hot cocoa from Starbucks has 20 milligrams of caffeine, but bad news is it also has 34 grams of sugar. That's about 6 teaspoons of sugar. So just imagine putting 6 teaspoons of sugar into your hot cocoa. Too much. It's just that is not going to be a healthy way for you to get energy or to keep your body healthy. So I'm not saying go to, I'm just saying you can brew hot cocoa or find some of these hot cocoa blends, and cacao does have caffeine in it. So you're going to get that lift. It's also full of antioxidants and flavonoids and all of these compounds. It's also been used traditionally as a heart opener. I've been to a few cacao ceremonies that my friends have led, and I just love the feeling of the traditional way of cacao being brewed. It's just beautiful and it's very uplifting. And so when we think about how, wanting energy, what if we just wanted an uplifting, an upliftment rather than just speed, right? So I think cacao really gives that upliftment that a lot of us are really looking for, that helps us to be better and be more effective. Now, this blend is really nice. It contains a blend of cordyceps mushroom, about 500 milligrams per serving. It comes in these little packets, which is super convenient. You just add them into a cup, add some hot water. I'll usually add a little bit of my choice of nut or goat milk to it. What I don't like about that is that it's a lot of packaging, and I typically would rather not have packaging. And I can't seem to find this product without, they don't sell them in large containers. So pro and con, you can decide. Something about cordyceps that's interesting to note is that it supports energy and endurance, and it comes from the fruiting body of a mushroom. And now in nature, this comes from the bodies of caterpillars, but Four Sigmatic actually grows these mushrooms without caterpillars. So it's considered to be vegan and cruelty-free. They blend this with cacao powder that's sustainably sourced from the Dominican Republic. And they also add in a little bit of coconut palm sugar, but it's really not that much. It's less than a teaspoon, and a little bit of ginger, which also adds a little bit of energy boosting, circulatory stimulation. And it's a really nice blend. You can also add a little bit of your own milk to it if you'd like. And this is a nice, easy, on the go, just add some hot water, and then you've got it. You've got your hot cocoa. Now, if you are more interested in making hot cocoa or making chocolate on your own, this is a great company, and I really like this particular cacao powder. This is a product from a company called Wildly Organic, and they make fermented cacao powder. And so this is a really cool process. What they do is they actually, their cacao comes from local farmers throughout the Dominican Republic who've naturally fermented the cacao in banana leaves for 3 to 5 days. And, this is the traditional way of fermenting cacao to get all of those good properties and antioxidants out of it. This cacao is also a good source of magnesium, iron, and fiber. It's considered vegan, gluten-free, kosher. So I really like it, and it tastes delicious. So I would recommend, if you want to try cacao as a substitute, try this brand. And you can brew it just like you would brew your own hot chocolate. So what I like to do is just take 1 to 2 teaspoons of the cacao, put that into my hot water, and then I like to add a little bit of maybe reishi powder, like 1 teaspoon of reishi powder, a half a teaspoon of dried ginger powder. And then if you have other herbs, you can try maybe a teaspoon of rose hips in there that are powdered, obviously, because you don't want to be chewing on them. So, think of other herbs. Maybe you want to add cinnamon, maybe you want to add some turmeric, but you could kind of make it your own if you'd like. And this is a really, really nice way to enjoy a little bit of upliftment without that overstimulation. Now, I would be a really poor herbalist if I didn't talk about one of, I think, nature's greatest energy givers, which is nettles. So nettles is nutrient dense, it's stimulating, it's detoxifying, it's full of chlorophyll, which is only one molecule off from our own body's hemoglobin or our blood cells. So it's like blood. It's like the chlorophyll is like the blood of, it's like plant blood. And we know our blood is full of nutrients, and it keeps our body active and alert. And so it does the same things for the plant. So we actually are, it's kind of actually not very, not a really friendly image to be thinking about drinking plant blood. I keep thinking of like a vampire. However, if you find a good source and you dry it, it's not, you're basically just extracting all of those minerals and all that chlorophyll from the dried leaves. So it's a little bit less violent than sucking blood. So it's a really, really wonderful herb. And through the years, I would say this is the number one herb that I recommend for people that are feeling sluggish, that are just feeling like they have a lack of motivation. It's really nice and easy to make an overnight hot infusion. So to use nettles in this way as an energy booster, you want to take about 1/2 to 1 cup of dried nettles and add it into a quart-sized mason jar. Then you want to pour 4 ounces, or that equals about a quart, or actually it should be 4 cups of water. That 4 ounces would be like a tiny, tiny bit. So you want to fill that 4 cup or 1 quart mason jar up all the way to the top with hot, hot water. Then you cap it and let it sit 6 to 10 hours. And if you can make it in the evening and let it steep overnight, that's best. And then you can just strain and drink it all day long. And your body will feel so good when you drink a quart of nettles a day. I would recommend drinking it in the first half of the day, just because it is a slight diuretic and you don't want to be going to the bathroom throughout the night. And then the last thing I wanted to just say is other ways that you can gain energy besides the ones that I've mentioned is, number one, drinking more water. Sometimes our bodies just feel sluggish and heavy because we're overburdened with toxins or we're dehydrated. So you can also just try drinking more water. Try to drink half your body weight in ounces. And, that add a little bit of salt to your water can also be a nice way to help your body absorb and hold that hydration. Exercise, I'll never forget one of my teachers who said, if you want energy, you got to give energy. And so we know this in the laws of karma and cause and effect. So if you want energy for your body, you have to use energy. You got to give it away. So exercising 3 to 5 times a week, getting, doing weightlifting, running, yoga, any exercise that you can get, really making that a commitment, you'll definitely gain more energy in that way. Everything in your body will become more efficient and you'll likely sleep better. Also, joyful movement is something that will give you energy. So if you like I, for example, love contra dancing, which I haven't been able to do because of COVID, but, whatever movement that creates joy in you, going to festivals and dancing, putting on Joni Mitchell and dancing around your living room, or, your favorite dance party hits, but just finding some ways that you can move your body joyfully is a great mood lifter. Our family, we like to have little dance parties where we'll put on 90s, 90s hip hop, or hits from the 90s, and that's always fun. So just try it one night and see if it gives you the energy you're looking for. And then lastly, one thing to note is that some people really do have a depletion of vitamin B12, and that's why they feel very unenergized, and they might think they need the caffeine to get their energy levels up. So if you're in a high risk group for low B12, this means maybe you're elderly, you're vegetarian or vegan, if you are pregnant or breastfeeding, those are the main categories for high risk. Or if you know that you lack intrinsic factor, which is responsible for the conversion of B12, then you'll need you'll definitely need to supplement B12. And so 10 micrograms, it's what's recommended if you're in that high risk group. Some people like to do more than that. I think there was a study that was done where people took what was it? It was like 50 micrograms, but they only absorbed about 10 micrograms of it. So, more or less 10 is going to give you what you need. And in good news, it's water soluble. So if you take too much, you'll just pee it out. But we know that vitamin B12 is essential for the production of ATP in the mitochondria of our cells. We know that it's really important for memory and cognition, and also just in having motivation and feeling happy. So you might want to look into that if you think you might be in one of those areas. So I'm going to take off my slides now. And yeah, so that's what I have for you. We've got the Rasa, the 4-Sigmatic cacao blend, the wildly organic cacao powder, and nettles. Those are my top 4. So give one of them a try, give a few of them a try. Let me know what you think. If you have any other favorites that you like to use for boosting your own energy without high levels of caffeine, let me know. And I did want to say, maybe I didn't mention this, but Nettles has no caffeine in it. So if you're looking for something that's completely caffeine free, then Nettles is going to be your go-to option. And yeah, I'm happy to answer any questions if you have them. So stay active, stay energized, and I'll see you all again soon.